Batana, thanks so much for your time. This IMF report highlighting the challenges that Zimbabwe's economy is facing. I don't know, nothing is jumping out as being anything particularly new on my part, but what is your view and assessment of the report and the economic impact on Zimbabwe going forward?
I think you rightly put that there are no new surprises. I mean, these are issues that we've continued to highlight, as an economic research house. But one thing that really stands out, or that's of a concern, really has to do with the broader monetary system. I think from the statement, what the authorities say is that they will continue with a de-dollarization framework to encourage sort of the interbank market. But what we've seen is a lot of distortions, especially if you then look at the exchange rate, which is stuck at around 18, versus parallel market rates that have moved northwards. We're looking at rates of 31, thereabout. So in terms of companies or production levels, so we've actually seen things such as capacity utilization levels coming down, simply because some of these companies really can't search for different currencies. So it has really hurt companies, which means that in terms of GDP growth numbers, really, we're looking at a contraction. That's basically our own estimate.
Because we've seen quite a number of attempts from government to fix the currency issue and reform monetary policy, but it would seem that to date nothing has been effective. In your view, how can Zimbabwe's government overcome this challenge?
Okay, so it's a catch-22 in the sense that, when you then push for a de-dollarization, you should actually have the reserves to actually support your own local currency. But in the case of Zimbabwe, we actually don't have the reserves. But at the same time, you then look at issues such as government expenditure, such as civil servant salaries. What that means is that, if you move towards dollarization, it actually increases your expenses. And basically, that is why, the government is trying to defend the local currency, the interbank market. But really, what we've seen on the ground is that the economy is informalizing, simply because, in the informal sector, companies can actually charge in hard effort. So what that means is that it sort of shrinks the tax base for the government, in the sense that a lot of activity is really happening outside the formal sector. So really, that's quite a challenge. But also what we've seen recently is that in certain sectors of the economy, I'm talking about the people sector now, we've seen the ZERA, which is the Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority, coming out that if you have free funds in Forex, you'll be allowed to really start or to sell your petrol or your diesel in hard effect. So really, that shows you that there's a bit of some distortions, and also the current system is not really helpful.
I suppose it explains why the president then is asking international lenders for some financial help. But it doesn't look like his efforts are, going to be successful given the amount of debt that Zimbabwe has. In the event that President Mnangagwa is unable to get external financing, what then?
That's a tough call in the sense that, in terms of external debt, Zimbabwe is looking at 8 billion USD. So that's a lot of money for a small country like Zimbabwe that's actually trying to kickstart things. I think in terms of industry capacity utilization levels now it projected at 27%. So really that becomes very difficult to push for an economic turnaround. But one thing that we've said, especially when you're looking at things such as FDI and also attractive capital, there's need really for policies that really allow investors to come in and move their money in and out. So really, without support, definitely.
And I see that your research house has implemented a form of app where foreign investors can get more insights into, what's hot and what's not in Zimbabwe's economy. I mean, what can you tell us about that?
Okay, so the idea then is to try and simplify the investment space for institutional and as well as retail investors. I think there's also an opportunity within the capital markets also to tap into the diaspora market as well. So really, what the app does is that you actually have access to the research content that you push out with the various research important companies and also on the economy. But we've also integrated that as well with C-Trade platform, which enables anyone, anywhere really to actually have access to the ZSE and the exchange, which means that you can actually trade on your mobile phone. But the unique selling point really for us has been the investor relations functions, where you can actually arrange to have a conference call with any management team of a listed company in Zimbabwe. So we try and bring about efficiencies where we arrange conference calls, but also we can also arrange things such as analyst tours or investor tours as well, and coordinate them via the research app. So really, it's a platform that enables for investors all over the world to actually understand the markets, but also have a quick view of what's happening